Hey guys, Richie here. This holiday season, you can help support Band Geek with your Amazon shopping. Before you do your shopping, head on over to riotcast.com/bandgeek and hit the Amazon banner at the top of the page. That takes you to your normal Amazon site, and then you do your shopping like you normally would, except when you check out, a small percentage of your purchase goes to supporting our show, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. Thanks for your support, and happy holidays. Welcome to Band Geek. I'm Richie Castellano, and I'm very excited today. I'm always excited, but I'm super excited today because we get to talk about Star Wars. Woohoo! Yay! Jarrett has gone to the dark side to work for the First Order, so he's going to be a British view screen.
Yes, Lord Vader. The shield will be down in moments.
Another Weasley.
Yeah, so
All
Jarrett.
Tony Hansen's dreams are coming true right now.
Yeah. Jarrett's a little under the weather today, so Anne-Marie quarantined him to his own house. And,
Yep.
But when you live in a house with a singer who relies on her voice, if you're sick, you have to stay far away. So Jarrett, thank you, Jarrett, for understanding. And being a good sport.
But now I get to do this.
Amazing.
It'd be better if I couldn't see your hands.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
And back from Berklee College of Music, the prodigal son hath returned, my cousin, Phil Castellano.
Yay! What's up, guys? Whoa.
And
We used to have a segment with Phil, like a Phil segment. Ask Phil. Was it Ask Phil?
Way back when.
oh, he used to give
Oh,
like
since I haven't heard that name since.
Goes home.
he used to give us
since
like
before you
guitar
were born.
repair advice and stuff.
Got it.
My always feisty, snarky wife, Anne-Marie Castellano.
I'm not dressed so much like a Jawa today.
The one day where we need you to dress like a Jawa.
I could dress. Listen.
I can be dressed as a Jawa in 45 seconds.
It's
You
true.
give me
On
45 seconds, I will be an Ewok right
On
now.
the inside, she's already dressed.
That's
that
right.
Look, I'm already wearing the fur. It's really not much of a stretch.
Yeah, how many tauntauns died to make your slippers?
Not as many as
ton.
Boffins died.
Oh.
A ton!
That's pretty,
Philip, that's an arm slapper.
that's pretty good.
A ton.
And joining us again today is the always indifferent Andy Epstein.
Andy,
Actually, no, the indifferent but surprisingly opinionated Andy Epstein.
No. Andy, quite contrary. He always has like the opposite to fight. But we need a devil's
I
advocate
don't know.
here.
This might be this. I think the last time we all agreed. I think this time might
Yeah, it
be
was
the
terrible.
deal breaker.
Andy said that was
we might.
terrible.
Who wants
And-
to sit around and hear us agree
wore-
with each other?
I wore my sand scarf
Good.
from. I just got back from Drakkar Nor.
And the off-camera voice, the director of this episode. Now, okay, I want to clarify something. Somebody said, "Hey, why is that girl just sitting on the stairs looking at a phone?" No, she's actually switching camera angles, jerk.
And I wasn't supposed to be on the screen.
Yeah,
I didn't know I was there.
We screwed up, jerk. Anyway,
We should
Hey,
put a
hey,
little
guess
like
what?
see-through curtain there.
Guess what, jerk? If you were here, you would be sitting on the,
Yeah.
the stairs.
you'd be sitting on the stairs outside my house,
Because there actually
I have
wouldn't be
a
any room
job
for
to
you
do
to fit
here.
here.
and because I don't like you, and you're not allowed to come to my house. Okay,
Yeah,
anyway, so
you're done.
Nothing but
Brandy
house.
Metaxas. So,
Maybe.
Jarrett, I was going to talk about, and Anne-Marie, I was going to talk about our Gal Gadot encounter, because on the live streams I've been doing, a lot of people have been asking me about it. So I figured let's do Star Wars first, because that's why people are here, and then we'll talk about other crap. All right?
Sure.
Cool. Just remind me when we're done if we haven't, as long as we haven't spent like 4 hours yelling at each other,
Yeah.
We can briefly tell that. You know what? How about this? Let's get that out of the way right now so we don't forget to do it. Me, Jarrett, and Anne-Marie met Gal Gadot. The end. Okay, Star Wars. No.
She was beautiful.
We went to Ace Comic-Con on Long Island. You're supposed to say on Long Island, not in Long Island.
Right, yeah.
They get pissed off about that.
Long Island.
Long
Just
Islanders.
because of that, it's been in Long Island.
Yeah, exactly. We waited on a very long, uncomfortable line. All of us
Because
felt...
you're in Long Island.
Yeah.
Everything's long.
Yeah.
It's actually a peninsula, I found out.
We waited on a very long, uncomfortable
peninsula.
$4.95, and then we waited on a very long, uncomfortable... But it was similar to like Celebration when I met Mark Hamill and Ian McDermott and Hayden Christensen. It's like you're on a long, uncomfortable line with nerds, and then you get to meet this famous person for about 10 seconds.
Not even.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you look at our social media accounts, me and Amory have a picture with Gal Gadot, and Jarrett has what I think is a phenomenal picture where they're both doing the cross-arm Wonder Woman thing.
Hey, that thing.
How the Amory the thing?
Now-
It's amazing because you stand in line for like 2.5 hours, and then you get up there, and there's people yelling at you, and you have to take everything out of your pockets. And I let Anne-Marie and Richie go in front of me because I needed to look at her more. And so you literally go up, and she shakes your hand, and she's like, "Hi, nice to meet you." And then somebody goes, "Ready!" And then you leave. You smile, and the flash goes off, and you leave. And so I went up to her, and I shook her hand, and she said, "Nice to meet you." And I fucking shivered, like, touching her hand. And I said, she went to go, like, do, like, the side, like, they do, like, the side, like, businessy pose. And I said, "Can we get one of these?" And she just went like this. Perfect. And if you go look at my Instagram or my Facebook, I said to Richie, I said, it's impossible that she did that so quickly and so perfectly.
Yeah, she looks like every angle of her is camera ready. It's like, you know when you take a picture, like mortal people, and you go, okay, I look on this side, I gotta put my neck this way so I don't have 5 chins, suck my gut in. You know, everybody thinks about that when they take, well, vain people like me think about that when they take pictures. But her, she's like every single angle of her is
but
camera
you know
ready.
what? Those cameras are probably set to her height. The coloring is all probably to make her look like a goddess.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
The
She
rest
doesn't
of
look
us.
naturally like that.
No,
at
she
all.
does. Amber,
she
you
does.
know.
No, she
You
does.
know.
She does. But I'm saying, like, even the most beautiful people on the planet, like, I've seen very pretty people take very bad pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
photogenic.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
me. I just take terrible pictures.
Oh no, you just take terrible
I
pictures of
looked
other people.
so dumb in that picture, guys. I looked so dumb.
You
I
know,
won't
you look
post
adorable
it.
in that picture.
I won't post it because I look so
I love that
dumb.
picture. She has the awkward hand
Yeah,
thing going
it's
on.
you.
Yeah, it's
I
I
see that
couldn't
picture.
touch her. I couldn't touch her.
It's hilarious.
I know.
Meanwhile, if I was there, I would have been like laying on her.
I was laying on her, but my hand.
No.
Do I touch her? Do I not touch her?
my defense for Amory, I'm gonna defend Amory here, is that Amory went to, like, 'cause it's so brief. Like, Amory went to put her arm around her and kept going because she was expecting
she
to
didn't
be.
get to waist
Yeah,
yet.
because the waist is so small on her. She kept like sizing in. It's like, where's this bitch's waist?
I was like, oh, fuck it, we gotta take a picture.
So, but her voice is silky smooth. It is nice to meet you.
Nice.
Some hummus.
I was like, oh, thank you so much. Of course. Like, oh my god, I want to just spread your voice on some matzah.
And I'd like to also point out that the whole day we're taking pictures, you know, all Comic-Con stuff, and they make, like I said, they make you take everything out of your pockets. You go and get everything back from like these little TSA bins, and Anne-Marie, on our way out, tries to sneak a picture with her, and 19 people were like, "Miss, no!"
Did that happen?
Yeah.
I got the picture.
You did?
Did you?
Can you post that one?
Okay.
Yeah. She's like going like, but she's still the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. So.
God.
Okay, so let's we've now you know what the experience was. Oh, actually, we got to see Cavill too because he was just like walking to the next booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a burly, handsome fella.
Oh, to get a little of a cleanse.
He's a lumberjack and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. We all watched it.
Spoiler alert.
Okay. Where?
Here we go.
Me, Philip, and Amory. We all saw it opening night, 10 o'clock, directly after Amory's concert at school. So
I
that
had
was
cookie
fun.
dinner followed by popcorn dessert.
Yeah. So that's what we saw. Where did you guys see it?
10
Same.
o'clock. Yeah, just a
Opening night,
Yeah.
Manhattan.
regular movie theater.
We didn't go to the IMAX.
Regular 3D.
Jarrett.
I saw it just a couple hours before you at the Atrium.
Same theater,
So
yeah.
I knew The Last Jedi was nobody before you even went in.
So have we all seen it twice?
No.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
You saw it twice?
Mhm.
Did you go to the atrium again to see it twice?
Yeah, I saw it the very next afternoon because, as you'll hear in my opinions, I wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds
and
promising.
we saw it. Me, Phil, and Amory just saw it. We just got back from Lincoln Square,
Lincoln Square.
IMAX, the 8-story tall screen.
The real IMAX.
Oh, it's pretty incredible seeing a movie there. If you ever go visit New York, or if you have an IMAX like that near you, I highly recommend it. It's an excellent movie going experience. It's really,
and the 3D really wasn't offensive.
and because the tickets are so damn expensive, you don't have any riffraff like talking during the movie or yelling or
Yeah,
looking
there
at
wasn't
the phone.
even for how many, and that seats a lot of people, that theater.
Yeah.
There was like not even any crinkling of wrappers.
No.
People were like, they clapped at the parts they should have clapped at, and that was it.
And I thought I was sort of like, oh crap, I forgot it was in 3D because I don't like 3D movies anymore.
Right. 3D.
But they did a really nice 3D job on this particular movie, and they really utilized it a lot, like with Star Destroyers, like peeking out of the thing and laser
that's
blast
what I
and stuff.
like.
Yeah,
That's why I like it when it's not like ridiculous, like in your face.
I have a
kinda stuff.
sword
Yeah.
in your face.
Yeah, well, it's mainly for depth perception. Like
Yeah.
I felt like that with Avatar. I think we saw Avatar in 3D, and
Yeah.
that looked beautiful
Yeah.
in 3D because it was all depth. You know.
Yeah, even just two
Talk a little
characters
closer to Mike.
talking in 3D is cool.
So okay, I guess the best way to do this is initial like overall impressions. Phil, go.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Get closer to Mike.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I had a couple of gripes about it, but I'm sure we'll get into that more in-depthly.
Okay,
In-depthly.
I like that word. Amory.
Indubitably. I loved it. I loved it the first time, and I loved it the second time.
Okay,
I loved it.
Andy.
All right, so Act 1.
No, you just need
was-
the overall.
overall?
the Gestalt.
Overall, it was okay.
Okay,
I'll give it also a average plus.
okay, pretty
Average
okay.
plus.
And Jarrett.
I just like average plus is the section I have to shop in at department stores.
Wow.
Very good.
That was like a double
You're
like,
welcome.
You're
self-deprecating
funnier. You're
joke.
funnier at home. Never come here again.
Least favorite Star Wars movie ever.
Wow.
Wow, interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to retract mine and go with him.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, average plus could still be. No, it's definitely not
Wait,
my
you're
least
still
favorite.
talking
You shut
about
off Rogue One.
that's true.
Phantom Menace?
Rogue
I'm
One
including
is
all the
pretty bad.
prequels,
Rogue One's
all the
terrible.
originals,
I love
and
Rogue
Rogue
One.
One.
Rewatch it.
Well,
Oh wow, this is.
I'll give you mine.
Scandalous.
I absolutely loved it. I had problems with it. I was disappointed by a few things, but I was surprised by what they did, and I went in there wanting to be surprised, and after I came back, I said, "Wow, that was just incredible! I just had a wonderful experience watching that." And then I made the mistake of going on Twitter, and I found #NotMyStarWars because this is
no.
2017 and everybody's outraged by everything.
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
So I read the hashtag Not My Star Wars for about a half hour, and I just saw everybody rip the movie apart, and I'm like, oh crap, I hate when I do this because I'll love something and then something else, I'll read something that will color my opinion, which is why like the ironic thing is we're doing a review episode, but I don't read reviews because of
Right.
this. But I watched it again thinking like, now I'm not going to like it because I have all these gripes everybody had like on my brain. But I watched it again the second time and I liked it even more. So I said, okay, that didn't affect it. I'm a fan of this movie. So
I also saw online that people thought it was the best movie ever.
That's more of what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw more of that than hatred too.
Well, okay, you guys started ranking this, so you put this at the bottom. So have you thought about the order now? Like what your preference is for all 8 Star Wars movies or 9? Are there 9 now?
I didn't put them in an
9.
order yet, but I put this at the bottom because I was thinking of rewatchability. And this to me, even watching it the second time, I said, if I have to watch 7 and I have to get to 9, this is the one that I'm going to be going like, ugh, I got to sit through 8 again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So it's at the bottom, but I don't have like I don't have a reorder yet.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm working on that.
Before you ask, none of us have brought this with us.
Yes.
If you told us there was homework, we would have come prepared.
Oh,
would
I
not
brought
have.
I brought my notes.
Yeah. Okay. Where's the ranking of Star Wars?
Well,
Exactly what I said. We were not
Wow.
told.
Okay. Does anybody else have an order? Because I thought about it. I have an order.
Of course you thought about
Look at
it.
mine right now.
You think about it
Phil-
every morning.
Do you know what I thought?
No, every morning I wake up, I reorder the movies.
I know, that's what I'm
depending on how I'm
saying.
feeling.
Well,
Like
on
had a
the-
bad breakfast.
I wish I
Phantom Menace
had-
goes down. Bad breakfast.
Phantom Menace moves up every time.
Yeah, I agree.
Two moves down.
Actually, I was thinking about this on the way over. Some of the problems I had with this movie was that it, like, everyone goes into this like wishing they saw something. Like, oh, I wish they would do this, and I wish they're gonna do that. And somehow, the prequels are moving up because the prequels showed us what we wanted to see.
The prequels definitely delivered, answered. The thing is, I think a lot of people. Okay, before I answer your question,
Right.
I just want to give you my order. Okay.
Okay.
My order from favorite to least favorite is Revenge of the Sith. Favorite, Empire Strikes Back. What did I do? Empire Strikes Back. I sent you this the other day. Read me the text message I sent you.
I think it was
Philip.
this movie.
No, I don't think it could have been. Hold on, I gotta look this up.
I think it was.
You too were not prepared.
I'm not prepared.
No, because you were talking to me in the car about it, and you're like, "But what's your order?" I'm like, "What?"
Like you don't have it? Everyone has it.
Oh, I got it. I have it. I have
Okay,
it.
Phil, read my order.
So you
Okay.
have Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, The Last Jedi, The Phantom Menace, Return of the Jedi, Attack of the Clones, The Force Awakens, Rogue One.
That's my order.
Mine is
Wow.
mine's very similar, but it has some differences. For me, I think it's 3, 4, 6, 5, 8, 1, 2, 7, Rogue One.
And
Bingo.
that's my old phone number.
So, I think, I agree with you. People were coming into this movie expecting answers and expecting to see things, and
Right.
the director, or the writer, just said, like this is okay. I've made it known that I'm not the biggest The Force Awakens fan.
Right.
No.
But what I loved about this movie is that I got the sense that whoever made this movie was like, yeah, there was a lot of dumb stuff in Force Awakens. We're not going to address any of that. Like, Snoke, that's a dumb character. We don't need to talk about that. Rey's backstory, it's kind of silly that she just knows how to do all this stuff, so who cares? It's like basically all these things you wanted to see, they were just like, we're not doing that. I
Well-
felt like they trolled The Force
Yeah,
Awakens.
and Luke Skywalker yelled at us.
Well, that was. But
like
do you know what? That was part of the thing that I was just thinking about the Snoke thing.
Yeah.
Was that like who even cares about the backstory? Like when the Chancellor first came on the screen in The Empire Strikes Back. I mean the Emperor. Like no one was like, ooh, who's that guy? It was
Yeah,
just like, there's a badder guy than Darth Vader, and that's it.
Exactly.
That was it. No one cared about the Emperor back then. It was like, oh, there's a badder guy.
Right.
Done.
Right, and there was another 3 movies that filled in his backstory.
It was,
Exactly.
it was a simpler time.
But what the point you're making is that in the prequels, like everybody wondered, and this is what I like about the prequels. Like when they gave you the original 3 trilogy movies, they gave you this. Like you were looking at it through this, and you were saying, "Oh, cool. There was this thing that happened, the Clone Wars, and there used to be a Republic, and there used to be a Jedi Order, and something really bad happened to Luke's father.
Right.
We don't really know. Yoda used to be a badass.
Right.
You know what I mean? Luke's father was supposedly an amazing pilot." Who knows? You know, like they gave you all these little breadcrumbs, and then in the movies, like the prequels, whether you liked them or not, you saw it. You saw the
Right.
Jedi Knights at their peak. You saw the Republic at its peak. You saw Anakin being an amazing pilot, and you saw how he got almost killed. You know, you saw Yoda. You learned who the Emperor was, what planet he came
Right.
from, how he rose to power.
Not even that. It's just very simple things. You wanted to see Yoda kick ass with
Yeah.
a lightsaber.
Yeah.
You saw
Finally,
it.
And you did.
You wanted to see a huge battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah.
You saw that.
Yeah.
You wanted like those two things delivered. What was everyone expecting? What did everyone think was going to happen in this movie?
Okay, that's a good thing that you put that.
I actually know exactly what everybody was thinking. They wanted to see Luke build the Jedi Academy. They wanted some kind of flashback. They wanted to see him rebuild the Jedi. And we didn't get to see that
'Cause it
because
happened
Disney
already.
is holding that in their back pocket to make a show. Mark my words right now. They're going to make a show, and we've talked about this.
Yeah, this is a Nerdist thing. They, I think I saw Chris Hardwick post.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said, he goes, since Rebels is going to end, Rebels is the Disney XD animated series.
Right.
And if you like Star Wars, I highly recommend it.
Rebels is ending?
It's the last season. We're in the middle of the last season. It's actually my favorite show on television. It's just so well done. But I think Hardwick said he hopes that the next Disney animated project is the Jedi Academy, Luke's Jedi Academy. You know,
I think it will be.
Because then you can learn about young Ben Solo. You can have the adventures of Han and Leia and Chewie and Luke when he was, not
They
bitter.
can make so much more money that way because they won't be able to fully get to it in a movie, but in a series you can go forever.
But yes, but just to address what Andy's saying.
What were people?
But the thing is,
I feel like people wanted that.
Yeah. People wanted that.
yeah, but the rub here is this movie is about that. It's about the thing you're saying. The theme of this movie is expectation versus reality.
Right.
That is the whole theme of this movie. And I kind of had that as in the back of my head the first time, but the second time I watched it, I was like, oh no, that's totally the theme of this movie. And me and Phil were talking before this movie came out. We said, if Luke doesn't take out his green lightsaber and just start killing hundreds of stormtroopers and bringing Star Destroyers down from the sky with the Force, I'm walking out, right? And then in the first, I think 20 minutes of the movie, he goes to Rey, what do you expect me to walk out with a laser sword and face off against the entire First Order? That's that was Luke not telling Rey, but us. Guys, that's ridiculous.
Right, exactly.
His words exactly.
Yeah, that would ruin the movie.
Why are you yelling at me, Luke?
Luke was yelling at us saying, the thing you want is stupid. It's never ever happened in any of the movies, right? Even Yoda and the Emperor didn't face off against an army.
Right.
It happened in the cartoon. That's not even can't
and
canon
not an
anymore.
army of people, an army of robots.
Right. Exactly. So that was, I think everybody was disappointed because for the first time ever, they made a Star Wars movie about disappointment.
When you told me that, I went into this movie like that. I was like, this is like a sad kung fu movie.
Yes.
This is the whole movie. You're right. The whole movie is about disappointment. Everyone is disappointed.
Yeah.
Everyone is disappointed. No one is happy. And every victory that happens, every moment of joy is counterbalanced by this awful horribleness. It's the look on Leia and Poe's face when they're going to the transport, but she just light speeded into the dreadnought. Right. It's everybody's clapping and hugging in the background. They're like, oh jeez.
Yeah, and that's you picked up on something I want to get into the kung fu movie thing, but I feel like the Force Awakens was almost like Star Wars with all the heavy parts surgically removed. It was just because Star Wars is the Millennium Falcon swoops in. There's lightsaber battles. There's jokes. And I thought they smelled bad from the outside. There's all this funny stuff. I love you. I know it's all this great stuff. But when you look at the overarching story of Star Wars, it's about a kid who basically gets abducted by a religious cult who wrecks his life. And he helps build the worst, horrible, oppressive system of government ever, right? And the only redeeming thing that ever happened to him is he meets his estranged son who tries to kill him and eventually succeeds. The end. Everybody, there's furry Muppets having a big dance in a song number, and your camera pans over, and this kid is burning his father.
Exactly.
That is the story of Star Wars, right? There's fun stuff in it. It's balanced with fun and light stuff, but it is a depressing downer. The whole overarching story. It's
not for nothing, Rich. This movie felt more like Star Wars than Force Awakens by far.
Right.
Leaps and bounds.
My favorite. Now, I don't look. It's when I say I don't like Rogue One or I don't like Force Awakens. That's of course I like them. They're Star Wars. I just don't like them as much as some of the other things. If it says Star Wars on it, take my money and I'll buy the DVD, I'll buy the Blu-ray, and I'll watch it a dozen times or 100 times, whatever.
You're about to knock that camera over. I keep watching your hand. I was like, ooh, we get it.
Hey, Jarrett. Sorry. Okay, anyway. So, but my favorite part of The Force Awakens, the part that felt that actually made me feel something, was when Han Solo goes up to the catwalk and goes, Ben! And all of a sudden, I went, whoa.
Right.
For the first time in that entire movie, I the nostalgic thing, oh, this is fun. Look what we're doing. We're back. It just stopped. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, no, this is, oh, now we're back. We're back. This is heavy. This is about this really troubled family. And this movie like brought us right back there and dealt with the consequences of that. I've talked too much. Somebody else talk.
I rewatched Force Awakens and before we went to see this, and I haven't really watched Force Awakens until I first saw it in the theater, and I liked it. Right? Did I like it? I don't even remember.
I think
I
you
liked
don't
it.
remember.
I
liked it.
We have to Muff, call up the previous episode.
I liked it, but now I'm watching this one, and I went in there and I'm like, okay, all right, let's see what's gonna happen. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then it started, and I'm like, oh, cool. The rebellion's running away from the Empire, like. The Empire Strikes Back starts.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, now she's in a desert island, gonna go get deserted island, going to train.
Right.
Oh, and there's an X-wing under the water.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna, are they gonna do this? And it just kept on going, and I was like, I said, the biggest thing that happens in Empire Strikes Back, is that Darth Vader says, "No, I am your father."
Yeah.
I said, I am going to walk out of this movie if Kylo Ren turns to Rey and says, "No, I am your brother." If he said that, I was out of there.
I was gonna stay for the rest of the movie.
So the first act, I was very angry.
They were
And I
definitely-
was turning to her. I'm like, really? They're gonna do this? They do it? Oh, look, the X-wing's underwater. Oh, she's over there. They're fighting. They're running from the battle. Really? They're gonna do this? And then they're on the planet. And I'm like, oh, look, here comes the winter, the same battle. And then the guy goes, oh, it's salt. Oh, good, it's salt. It's totally not Hoth. It's totally not a snow battle with walkers and all that stuff. Oh, it's just salt.
Oh, but there's the walkers.
Just, they're there.
Wow.
This is totally,
Our salt's really white.
totally different.
Speaking of salt.
Totally different. Totally different.
Okay. So
But it had that
Put
like
salt
blood
on
salt.
snow. That's what you do.
It's fine, it's fine.
I will
Those
agree.
were AT-ATs, and in this movie they were guerrilla walkers. Totally
Yeah, because they
different.
walk like gorillas.
And then I'm like, oh, look, it's Snoke, and he's in a throne, and there's a lightsaber right next to him, and he's
It's Jedi.
telling-
Yeah,
and
but
I'm like,
his-
Jedi? Is this like the same exact?
Okay,
lightsaber?
yeah,
okay.
but his Imperial guards were way fucking cooler. Excuse me, were way cooler because it was already said because they did kung fu and they had like rope darts and like awesome stuff.
I said something to these guys because I felt a little bit of that, but I didn't feel as beaten over the head as I did in Force Awakens.
Right.
Because Force Awakens was almost like
I feel like Force Awakens. It was this story, but everything seemed new somehow in Force
No,
Awakens.
everything felt very old
Like-
to me in Force Awakens.
No, it looked new.
But
It
it looked new.
But you know what? The vibe was different. That's the thing about Force Awakens. The vibe was super different. So it's like, even though the whole movie was like, look at this, he said the thing in the place with the guy. I'm like, oh God. But
Who are you
like,
imitating when you're doing that voice?
I don't
You
know.
maybe? I don't know.
But the thing is,
ordered two sandwiches.
after we watched the movie, because I picked up on that wasn't a big problem for me.
Yeah.
Like as much of a problem as it was for me in Force Awakens.
Right.
But I said to these
Well,
two.
I feel like I was more aware of it because of.
Right. Because
Because
we
it
just.
happened.
Well, no,
It had
but what I
happened.
said was, I said, well, okay, so Force Awakens was all of A New Hope and half of Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
This was half of Empire Strikes Back and all of Return of the Jedi. So does that mean J.J. Abrams in 9 is going to remake Force Awakens?
No, he's gonna remake Episode 1.
That's for you, Jarrett. You like that joke?
So, what part of Empire and Jedi had a 30-minute subplot about freeing horses?
That unnecessary. That was unnecessary.
Okay, so I
garbage.
guess we're diving in.
We're in it.
Go, Jarrett.
Man. Why did they need 17 bombardier ships when one could do it? Why is it Battlestar Galactica? What's
It was
actually wrong
Battlestar
with
It was
Lord body?
Battlestar Galactica.
Are you going to do that thing where you just rattle off your list and then not breathe and then we can't respond to any of it?
Yes.
I'm just preparing my body for that.
Why did he just toss his saber away? Why
That
are
was
Rey and
so
Kylo
funny!
just Skyping each other?
Oh, that was the
Yes.
other thing.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, now Luke is turned into crazy Yoda in Empire.
He's crotchety Yoda.
Because Yoda was
Well, that's
crazy.
the role
Well,
he's playing.
that I loved because that was a kung fu movie. This
Yeah.
is the first Star Wars kung fu movie. Like the Yoda training thing was cool, but this was just like Yoda was waiting for Luke. Luke was not waiting for Rey.
Right, right.
Luke, when he took the saber and the music just like stopped and he chucks it over his shoulder, I was like, bah!
I thought that was brilliant.
And I knew where they were going. And Tony Hansen said to me, he goes, so Star Wars totally just Tiger's Fanged. He's like, Star Wars the Tiger's Fang movie, and it was like the whole Shaolin thing, or like old kung fu movie thing, like even Kill Bill. Like you got to walk up the stairs, follow the master, sleep outside until the master. Okay, I'll train you. You know what I mean? And then. And the whole philosophy of it, and everything you said was wrong. No, it was very kung fu, that whole part of the movie. And then the other part of the movie, like you said, was Battlestar or like a Star Trek. And I think that kind of like tactical like stalemate is something that we've seen a lot of in Star Trek, like Wrath of Khan.
Right.
Let's go into the nebula, and all of a sudden, instead of having like pew 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 pew, like the battle is basically.
Right.
Like it's like a naval battle. You know what I mean?
It's actual battle. It's like how it actually would be. It was much more realistic.
And I thought people were like, after the movie, Phil said, "So is it just me, or was that movie just about a ship running out of gas?" And I'm like, it was, but like I liked it because I guess I'm used to seeing that from Star Trek and
totally
Battlestar.
The whole running out of gas thing, that was like, that reminded me of that jump episode where they had to jump every 33 minutes, 33 and a half minutes. And it was like, but it was like this kind of desperate survival. It was a death rattle. Like they were just like trying to claw onto whatever they had left.
I will respond to what you said about the casino thing. Now, I loved the casino. What I didn't love about it is that
I liked the planet. I liked seeing the new characters. I was like, oh, cool. This is where rich fucking space people hang out. Totally love that.
Yep.
What happened on that planet? Stupid.
Rose was unnecessary.
I will half agree with you. And I think the bigger sin is not that what happened. Like, I think it would have been fine. But as Philip pointed out, that whole sequence had zero effect on the story.
Right. No matter how it
The only thing it did was introduce Benicio del Toro, who basically betrayed them and said, "Oh, if you just look a little bit to the right,
they could have looked out a window and gotten to where they went.
If you look out that window, you see those little specks? Those are transport ships. Shoot them.
Right.
Okay, thanks for your money. Bye." Right. But like I liked that whole thing, and part of it is a selfish thing. We played a Star Wars like role-playing game, not in bed. I mean, like it's like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing.
Right.
And what we did was I added a casino planet.
Oh,
Not a casino planet. It was like a space casino, a floating casino.
Right.
But
space yacht,
like a riverboat casino.
Right. That's what I added, and basically that came up on screen, and Phil and Amerigo went, "That's your planet. That's you made you.
This is your quest.
This is your quest." So I just thought like, wow. This is cool. Where Force Awakens literally showed us no new things. Like everything was like, here's a bigger Imperial installation.
Do you know what this was?
Here's another desert planet.
Yeah, this was like, here's something you've never seen.
The casino planet in this movie was the equivalent of the pod racing in the earlier movie, in the prequels. It's the equivalent, because it's like, you might hate it, you might want to be like, oh, we could have just gotten rid of that whole thing, but it was like, it was something new. You saw how like Jabba and like all the underworld hung out and like did their stuff,
and it was a necessary action sequence that wasn't a battle.
Yeah, but
like it was an escape.
But I'm saying in terms of like, you got introduced to all new types of characters. You got introduced to the Dug. You got introduced to like how Jabba like runs his daily life, not when he's lounging in his palace. Like this is how he runs his life. This is his actual main business. This is him going to work in the morning.
Look, I enjoyed that. I thought it got a little heavy-handed, Jarrett. I thought that, especially the Rose character, because because the problem is like, this movie dealt with a lot of the, expectation management and how like things aren't what they seem. And I thought, I don't know if they meant to do this, but I'm watching this. I'm just like, Rose is a terrorist. Like that's what I was thinking. Like this woman is a terrorist. Like someone's trying to like escape death, and she is stunning them, number one. And she gets to like basically Las Vegas, and she goes, all these people are heathens. They deserve to die. You know what I mean? Like,
burn it down, all of them.
Yeah, I want to punch this planet, and it's like, well, what about that family over there that might be on vacation?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that maybe is not a war profiteer.
Right.
You know, it's like the way she was talking was very like militant, radical.
Well,
you know?
when we were talking in the car on the way back, I said, well, that also makes Finn one of the more dangerous characters because he was like, oh, this place is great. And then she was like, no, they're all jerks. And he's like, yeah, they're all jerks. And then like he has the wherewithal to make it happen.
He doesn't know anything. He just agrees with the next person
really
he meets.
That's exactly what she's saying.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what makes him dangerous.
And I feel
like he's gonna come back around and really screw everybody.
His
in the
opinion
end.
changes based on who.
I feel like they're grooming for that. He's gonna really disappoint Rey. I
don't like Finn. I was a little part of me was sad when he was about to die, and then he didn't, and then I was sad again. But I was just like, no, because I'm like, what this character? I don't understand what his role is.
Maybe we're not supposed to understand it yet, though. Just the same reason that we're not supposed to understand her parents yet.
That
his goal is to be at odds with Captain Phasma, the other lame character.
Oh, that's the word. That might as well be the worst character they've ever made.
Yeah.
Who literally accomplishes nothing.
Yeah. She's shiny.
She's shiny, and she's played by someone who I really like.
Yeah.
But it's like
it's a shame because Gwendolyn Christie is awesome. Like she deserves a better part.
I don't get what they did there, and that whole thing just felt like shoved into the movie. That whole like side quest thing, and they introduce a new character for this, and then they have this weird thing, and then there were a lot of like weird. There was a lot of like little weird, like first of all, that was a plot hole, like that. You could say the whole story's a plot hole that they're just doing this, right? I mean that didn't bother me, but the whole like their plan is to just try to distract the Empire so they can get away. And then the only way to make the Empire aware of that was to have this whole casino side quest and then have the guy turn. That just seems like
it failed.
Yeah,
right.
It failed. And the whole so really, if you look at the whole overall arc of the story, the whole point of that was just for Benicio del Toro, I'm forgetting his name in the movie, to betray them and to make them aware of it so they can end up on that salt planet. So that
whatever.
That was where the movie. Like I enjoyed seeing something new with the casino thing, and I liked it, and I actually liked like Finn and Rose's like encounter and their little adventure on that planet. I thought that was kind of fun, you know. And also as being someone who loves Rebels and Clone Wars, and I'm a bigger Hondo fan, to see like Benicio del Toro play a scoundrel, like
a real true neutral scoundrel,
degenerate character because. Han Solo was supposed to be like that, but never was.
Right.
Like to see like a real scumbag in that movie, and just in all the little weirdness he put in that character, I loved that. But I was just like wondering, like
why?
Phil said, like this was cool. Thank you for showing me this cool stuff.
What is the point?
Yeah. And
the thing I didn't understand was their plan was to, like you said, outrun the Empire, right? And it was supposed to be like, hey, look over here so we can get down to this rebel base down here. Why didn't they share that with Poe? There was like 14 people left in the rebellion.
Yeah.
That
whole coup thing.
That's a plot hole.
That whole coup thing didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Wait, was Poe locked up?
No, he never got locked up. He got stunned once by Leia, which was one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where she's like, Leia, boom! I was like, that is so Princess Leia. They get this character.
She's so old and crotchety, and I love
wonderful.
it. She was
great. That bothered me. There's one really huge offense in this movie. Is that nobody says, I have a bad feeling about this.
No, BB-8 did.
But
what?
BB-8
I read it online.
Really?
Right when Poe's doing that stupid thing in the beginning with the Verizon commercial and General Hutz.
Yeah. Only positive beeps, buddy?
And he says something like, yeah, me too. And Ryan Johnson said online that BB-8, his first beeps are, I have a bad feeling about this.
Well, I'll have to double check that because I can speak Kenny.
Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is, how come the term rebel scum was used by like 80 people?
Yeah.
That was used in one movie, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
More than...
Now it's like, oh, I'm rebel scum. No, what are you talking
Also,
about?
people in Star Wars really like to say, punch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that a ton.
I felt the dialogue was very clunky.
Oh, what was
Yes,
the other word?
especially Rey's. So a lot of what I'm hearing from people are that like, oh, Rey's so whiny, she's so whiny, oh, she's annoying. I'm like, I feel like that was bad writing because I feel like she's acting the crap out of it, but she keeps repeating herself, and it's like really bad writing.
Yeah, there was
hubris.
Hubris.
Ambry has a hubris problem.
That's what I said too.
He said it twice in 20 seconds
In a row. That was an editing
It was like two
problem.
sentences in a
Yeah,
row.
that was...
I'm like, like,
and
come on.
accidents.
And
Really?
me and my hubris, and the Jedi and their hubris.
I'm like,
Was
Shut
that the
up.
name of those horse things on Canto Bite? Hubrises?
I like them. That's my spirit animal.
Brandy, did that
Yes.
stuff feel like very Harry Pottery to
Yes,
you?
there was definitely a lot of Harry Potter feelings going
Harry
on.
Pottery barn.
yeah, the dialogue was bad. Wasn't good.
Okay, now I want to talk about what I loved about the movie. I mean, do you want to keep going about what? Do you want to keep pooping on it?
No, I don't want to keep pooping on it. I just like it. One thing that did bug me, since we're just still on that subject, Maz Kanata's like, okay, you got to go to this place. You got to find a master code breaker. He's a crazy gambler.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be Lando?
Yeah. It could have easily been Lando, but
Yeah.
there was. I think I read something somewhere about they made a decision a while ago. They weren't putting Lando in the movie.
You know what? And I think that that's a good choice. I think that's a good choice because, you know what? Force Awakens, my biggest problem with that movie was all the nods and the nostalgia and the look. They said that thing from that movie and look, it's Han, he's on the Millennium Falcon. Oh, it's Chewie and Han. Okay, guys. About halfway through that movie, I was like, all right, I love me some nostalgia, but shut up already.
Yeah, but they did like a crazy
problem.
symbolism thing with something that's not very apparent, which is that dice thing.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's
what was the
hanging
dice
in the
thing?
Millennium Falcon in Star Wars and Empire and stuff like that. Like I looked online, people pointed it out, but like it wasn't like a thing.
And
Yeah.
why did
Oh,
it
it's-
disappear?
It's in the originals.
It disappeared because it was a
Yeah,
hologram.
It was
a
never
second.
there. It was never there. Okay,
Yeah.
But the only other thing I wanted to complain about, which I just thought was funny, is that Laura Dern came on the screen, and I was like, oh, they must have used CG to make her look like that. Oh, no, that's Laura Dern's body.
I thought she looked great.
Her neck she looked like a Camino.
Yeah.
I liked it. I dug it.
She looked like a really hot, long Mon Mothma.
Yeah, she was an elongated Mothma.
She's a long Mothma.
Yeah, there you go. I think the
Can we also talk about the Spaceballs jokes?
okay, go.
There was a bunch of Spaceballs jokes.
Like
in
what?
there.
I agree.
Well, the beginning, the whole thing, like you said, the Verizon commercial.
Oh, that was
loved
great.
it. I loved it.
That
love
was
that.
the Spaceballs joke. At the end, when he's yelling at them, he's like, "Fire all the guns! Fire all the guns!"
and then he looked
Kylo
at me
turns
and was
around
like,
like,
Don't say this. No. He's like, "What the fuck?"
why are we always preparing? We're always preparing.
Just go.
I thought it really needed it though, because if you didn't have that, this would be a very depressing movie.
And it wouldn't be Star Wars because honestly, all right, here's part of the thing too. Like the original trilogy had the same kind of jokes, but it was jokes of that era. It was that kind of humor from then, which doesn't necessarily translate now. We love it because we grew up with it, but it's today's kind of humor.
Going back to what I said earlier, like the thing about that sets Star Wars apart from other sci-fi. I mean, Star Trek got there eventually, but I think the word is levity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
just like
It's a good word.
you have like a very heavy, serious
Hubris.
subject matter, and you have people that are not taking it so seriously. And like that's why I'm not a huge fan of Star Trek the original series, but the Star Trek movies when they got old and fat and they pointed out like we're all old and fat
Right,
and we're
right.
still doing
That's
this
levity.
like
Yeah.
self-aware.
right. When it became self-aware like that, I love those movies because of that. Like
Well, those are brilliant. No one can argue that.
and I felt like this movie, especially when the theme of the movie is disappointment, like that is the overarching theme, and you have to have jokes like, "Wow, this sucks, huh?"
That's when comedy happens.
Yeah.
When things are pretty bleak, and this is the bleakest we've ever seen this universe.
Oh, yeah.
We like even coming into the Empire and Vader and Sidious and whatever, like. It has never been this bleak. There's 12 of them left.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We've never seen the good guys in such a bad place.
Well,
And a bunch of new Pokemon.
you know what?
I
I
love
thought I was
Crystal
gonna hate
Foxes.
those from the promo stuff,
Yeah.
but I was fine with
oh, the
them.
I like the
porgs
porgs.
are cute.
I don't care about that.
No one
Crystal
cares.
I'm
Foxes.
just
Yeah,
concerned with Chewie. What's going on with Chewie?
Are you all right, Chewie?
He's
You
not.
okay?
He's like I was we were watching The Force Awakens, and there's that scene like after one of the battles, and he's just like, "Rah," and the woman's like examining
Yeah.
him. And
I
like,
love that.
Oh, you must be so
"You must be
brave.
so brave."
Yeah.
She sounds
I'm
like Lois.
He sounds like he's less of a animal warrior man than usual.
He's also
He's old. He's very
400 years old.
I know.
230 something.
230. But
He seems to be getting softer and softer.
another thing is interesting.
He's almost
He's
like
back in my day.
No, but, one interesting you pointed that out because he. This is the first movie where Peter Mayhew was not Chewbacca.
That's right. He was a consultant.
Yes.
I saw on the credits.
Yeah,
No,
but,
I thought it was the new guy in Force Awakens also.
Yes, but no, but all the shots that were like seated in the Falcon or just like stationary shots, that was Peter Mayhew in Force Awakens. For this one,
Right.
they just totally replaced him. I don't know if maybe the actor inside the costume has something to do with it. You know, maybe it could be. But yes, I will agree with all the things you said. You know what I mean? With I'd say 90% of them, but I still loved this movie, and probably for the same reason that I loved Revenge of the Sith, because they end in similar places.
Right.
You know,
Sure.
like Revenge of the Sith ends. Okay, the Republic is gone.
The
The
Jedi,
Jedi are gone. Like all of them are dead except
do you
for
do?
two, presumably.
So what?
The bad guys won. You know, and they won decisively. They won. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, what next? But there's a glimmer of hope. You know.
Episode 4.
Yeah,
Episode-
exactly.
episode
And this
A
movie.
Newer Hope,
The,
episode
the
9.
newer, the newer hope.
The
And
newest
do you know what's
Hope.
great?
Newest
It's,
hope.
it's funny because you bring up how that ended, how 3 ended.
Yeah.
And then if you place Rogue One in that, Rogue One is the darkest Star Wars movie we've ever seen because everybody just dies. It's
I think Rogue One is very well done, and I think it was entertaining. I just think it has absolutely no rewatchability.
I
for
put it
me.
on last week. I turned it off after 10 minutes.
I mean, I could basically fast forward to the Vader scene at the end and be like, okay, I'm good. And you know what? The best part of the movie is the part where I get bored. It's the part where once they get to Scarif at the end. Is that the name of the planet, or is it Edu?
Yeah.
Oh, Scarif. When they get
just
to
judging you.
What's her name?
I don't
Jin,
This is
Jin
the rebellion,
Erso.
isn't it?
Oh, right.
I
yeah.
rebel.
Yeah,
I rebel.
I have a problem with the names now.
But
Oh, Darth Vader's castle.
It was Luke and Leia. That was easy enough.
Yeah.
Darth
Luke,
Vader's
Leia,
castle.
and
Joe
Ben.
and Frank.
Like I'm saying, you
Ben.
might as well name it Gary. Like
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Luke, if Luke is the hero, why not Gary?
Well,
Just saying.
Isn't he the guy who worked on the Death Star
Yeah.
in Eddie
that-
Izzard's
and-
bit? Gary from the Death Star?
On the things that I like too, I kept thinking of Brandy, speaking of the porgs, because they were very cute, but in every single porg scene, there was one that was horrified,
Yeah, I love them.
and his mouth was just like,
No, but quivering, like,
but they were all like quivering with little lips, but his mouth was like so wide open every single time, and it just made me laugh. I was like,
yeah, I didn't mind them. You know,
I'd like a porg.
As long as they didn't pick up sticks and like take down an AT-AT, I was okay with porgs.
You know, I think a lot of the porgs were puppets too, because you know, like when Chewie's fighting him off, and the one just kind of like loads up, and he just like flies straight up. I'm like, that's a puppet on a string, and I love that's a puppet.
and I thought the fish nun people reminded me of Anne Marie.
They did have a lot of material on. And they were angry in the background.
But they were like,
No, they were like little
enslaved.
Italian grandmas. They were little Italian. They're like, oh, what'd you do to my house?
She's trying to avoid the things falling all over the place.
And no, Richie both times
Water
slapped
bottles
me.
flying around like.
He did it today too. So that one scene when you know she's practicing, she picks up the lightsaber and she's like, well, I'm gonna do this with the lightsaber now, not the bow staff, and then she slices the thing and it falls, and the two guys are wheeling the wheelbarrow with the bones, and just takes it up and they just do this. Richie goes, bah! Each time, and he slaps me. I was like, Richie.
This movie just hit me. It just
I know.
hit me like it was exactly what I wanted.
The humor was really well paced.
And I felt the same way about like Revenge of the Sith. It was like it gave me everything I wanted. And then when I went online and saw the hashtag Not My Star Wars, I said, oh no, not again.
You know what?
I said,
it doesn't
they,
have to be everyone in
like,
Star Wars.
It doesn't. And you know what? Like they made The Force Awakens for you people. You know what I mean? The people that like, oh, screw Jar Jar Binks, screw this, screw CG.
I like The Force Awakens.
But they made that movie for you, right? Like they
not
got you
this
back
one.
and now
in.
they
And
made
now
this
that-
for Richie.
And now this is my movie. So go piss off. But no, the
you rebel scum.
but aside from, I want to talk about
Phasma's gone now, so yay.
But I want to talk about what I liked about
We
it.
didn't actually see her die.
That's true.
Shut up, Jarrett.
Wait, before you go into what you liked, you felt the humor was okay in this movie.
I think it was okay. I thought it was phenomenal.
How did you feel about the humor in the new Thor movie?
I loved it.
it.
That's great.
See, there's a disconnect between me and you because that humor annoyed me, and that annoyed me from like the beginning of this movie.
I liked it. I just
You can like it.
I just like the juxtaposition of the fact that like, oh look, this is the
No, but it's a type of humor. She's right because it's the same kind of like modern snark that was in Thor. You're exactly right.
But he hated it when it was Superman.
no, because
It wasn't really like that
It
in
wasn't
Superman.
organic. It was
That's
like
what I felt about this humor. I felt that there were like 4 or 5 very organic jokes
Right.
that were hilarious, and I laughed out loud. You know me, I laugh at everything. The fact that I laughed at none of those jokes,
Right.
Luke dropping the lightsaber, I didn't laugh.
I laughed when he did
I
the little
smiled.
like feel, reach out with the force.
Yes, I
feel
laughed
it.
when he did that. Because that was more, it seemed more organic.
Do you
to me.
feel it? Do you feel it?
Yeah.
Oh, you feel it?
feel it.
Whack!
That was kung fu right there.
that was great.
He was trolling her, and I dug it.
I didn't, to me that felt natural. Whereas with Justice League, it felt like, oh, we got to put more jokes in here, and it just felt like I don't like feeling like a box is being ticked off.
Correct.
And there were a few things in this movie that I felt like boxes were being ticked off.
right.
Particularly with the whole, rose.
Rose, I was
spin.
just gonna say rose.
I'm like, okay, we got the.
Like, do you know what they did when she's sitting there and they're up? She's like, "Look closer. I'm going to tell you my life story now as quickly as possible about how I was in a poor mining community and blah blah blah." What does that have to do with this place? Nothing.
I was like, you're a cool character, and I would probably really like you if you were on like
If you said less.
a weekly TV show or something. But like, I don't know why we're cramming you in movie 2 in the middle of this. Like, I couldn't understand it.
Especially since this was the longest movie, that could have
Yeah.
easily been something they cut out.
So,
To come to her defense a little bit though, she was the outsider. Like in all these movies, it's always focused on like 9 people, and then she like was walking in the ship, and then she was like, "Oh shit, you're Finn! Holy crap!
Yeah.
like you're the only
You're a
black guy
famous
here.
guy.
I know who you are." But you know what I mean? Like she was the outsider, and like being sort of brought in.
that's interesting. I didn't think about that because if you do look at that, the movie is about how, aside from another theme, aside from like expectation management, is about how who cares who you are. Like, yes, everybody's expecting Rey has to be somebody's something,
Right.
and this person has to be somebody, and everybody's so obsessed with the Skywalker bloodline, and,
Right.
and what Luke is saying is, and what Kylo Ren is saying is like
Hubris.
it doesn't matter because like that's all bull. Like it's like that's
Well,
all.
I
It's a
actually
story.
really liked what
This isn't
Kylo
Game
said
of
about
Thrones.
that.
Yeah.
We're not saying, oh, the kid with the broom. Oh,
Yeah.
who's his parents? We're
Yeah.
not saying that.
No,
I really,
it's like-
I really liked what he said to her too. He's like, "You're nobody. You're nothing.
Yeah.
But you aren't nothing to me." Like that, I liked a
Yeah,
lot.
I got a
thought
little.
that was
I
really good.
felt a little verklempt during that part.
Yeah, I really felt for him.
Well, I liked it because like as much as I wanted it to say, "You're my twin sister, and you were taken from me by Snoke at birth, and
Right.
and just so you to raise to defeat me, and your mind has been wiped, and you were trained. That's why you're so good at everything. And
Well,
you know,
she
and I
definitely
taught
had
you,
her mind
and I
wiped, for
taught you
sure.
how to fly, and I taught you a dozen different languages, and I taught you how to do engineering
And that's when I was
fencing.
that's why I was walking
That's when he
out.
was gathering up his stuff.
So, but he said you're nobody, and that's okay because Anakin Skywalker was nobody.
Right.
Anakin Skywalker came from a backwater planet. He had no father.
Raised by a single
Yeah,
mom.
his mom was a slave who died from getting repeatedly raped by sand people. Like he was. Yeah, thank you. He was a nobody, and he became the most powerful person in the galaxy. And it's like,
yeah, but he was chosen by something because
Midi-chlorians. He had lots of them.
Yeah, he was the Immaculate Conception. Like he was born of nothing.
but the point
I
is
hated,
the
but
point is that like
that's the
everybody's so obsessed with who's this, who's that, and this movie basically the big thing about which was sort of pissed me off, but I was amused by it at the same time, just because like I really hated the attitude a lot of people had regarding Force Awakens. Like, oh, finally we got the movie. And I'm like, nothing happened in this movie. Nothing happened that you haven't seen before.
Right.
Stop it. But this movie, like that movie, was like, oh. What girl? Who is that girl? Who's Snoke? Where did he come from? This movie said, who cares?
Right, exactly.
Who cares?
Yep.
It's not going to affect the story.
It's like the nihilist friggin' anthem here. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
cares?
It was like this movie
Take your existential crisis
This movie
and shove
trolled Force Awakens so badly, I couldn't help but like it. It's just
That might be why it's getting some hate.
Unless that was the plan all along.
yeah. It was like, oh, what? Oh, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Snoke, we're not going to do that. No, we're just going to kill him.
So I actually really like how they handled
Oh, it's
Snoke.
spoilers. We've got to say spoilers.
No, we said it. We
mentioned
said
it
it.
at the beginning.
We said it.
Beginning.
We said it.
You're not going to listen to a review episode and not expect spoilers, you dummies.
But I'll tell you that my favorite thing, and I think the thing I really never saw before, there was a few very new things. One of the criticisms I was seeing online is people are saying, nothing new, no additions. I'm like, what? I was like, this is the most unexpected Star Wars movie I've ever seen. Yes, there were plenty of cues to Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, especially the throne room and some of the dialogue being said verbatim. You know what I mean? But there was some...
Also, she decided she was drawn into the mist. She was walking into the mist too in the with Luke.
Yeah.
That was the other.
To bring this movie to a crawl.
So
I like that.
But there were so many new things that I saw, and this was like, you know that movie Memento?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie, and the movie. If you haven't seen that movie, it's like a fake out, and the movie drops subtle clues to what's really going on, and when you rewatch the movie, you go, oh, all right, so this guy's not really here, right, and that was something Star Wars had never done before, and I thought they did it quite successfully in this movie. Like on the second viewing, I said, "Oh my God, they're telling you from like the first part of this movie, like the whole Luke doing the mass mind trick." Mm-hmm. You know, and I want to talk about that really quick.
The effort alone will kill you. That whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
when Rey and Kylo Ren first reach out to each other, Rey says, "You're not doing this."
No,
the effort
Kylo
alone.
said that.
Kylo said, "You're not doing this. The effort alone would kill you." To like have to long distance implant me into your mind Skype.
Except now we know that that's visual.
It's visual. She was seeing
Now
him.
we know. But is this the same visual? So in the other movies, when it was happening,
no, it was not visual. It was a feeling.
Luke didn't see Kylo.
Luke didn't. No, but she said, "I see you."
Luke saw Kylo in the end of that one scene when he exploded the room.
That's true.
That's what
He
he saw.
did see him when he exploded that tent castle, whatever the hell he was in.
I'm saying in the other
Right.
movies, it's not visual.
No, it's a feeling.
it's and it just seems like
Well, it's
the
facilitated
Force,
by Snoke.
since the Force has awakened, that it's very powerful right now, and it just seemed like Snoke seemed supercharged with the Force. Like he was more powerful. He seemed physically more powerful than the Emperor ever was with his abilities. And Luke, when he finally does use his powers, they're pretty incredible. But they gave us several clues, which I thought it was a fun rewatch because, the effort alone would kill you. That's one little clue, right? When the guy walks on the salt planet and he leaves footprints, and then they show you the shot of Luke shifting his feet.
Well, they show the Kylo shifting his foot and it pushes it red. And they made it very obvious that the lightest touch on this planet will make the snow fly away.
Also, when there was a really cool moment when Luke first shows up at the Rebel base, and Leia's talking to him.
Oh, I noticed that today.
And then he touches her,
right.
and she looks at him like.
Well, you had made. I want to preface that with something you said to me after the first time we watched it. You had made a comment. Notice as Luke didn't deflect anything. He didn't like touch anybody. He didn't touch anything. And then I went in there thinking that this time, and then that scene came up.
He touched
and
one
the
person.
only thing he touched, was Leia.
Right.
He took her hand, and now knowing that, reading the look on her face, she looks up. She goes.
Yeah.
Like she does this thing, and
she figured it out.
They lead you to believe that it's because he left the dice in her hand.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're never really alone.
Yeah.
Meaning Han's with you at all times. Oh, how sweet is that?
Right.
No. You're never really alone because I'm the blue glowy surrounding you right now. Like I'm apparating myself here to be with you, and I've always been with you.
Like I'm getting goosebumps talking about that, and as cheated,
Really?
as cheated as I felt by it, like man, I really just wanted to. As much as Luke yelled at me for wanting this, I still wanted to see him break onto a Star Destroyer with Rey and just like tear through legions of men like a video game.
Yeah, but he was never that, and he never had the opportunity to be that. You know what I'm saying? So I took off my shoe.
Okay.
Is that a problem?
It's fine. Everybody say hi to Amory's foot.
Can you see it?
I just felt that the whole ending was, it was like, I didn't cheer. It wasn't like, oh, that was so cool that he did that. I was like, really? Now he's just like a Force hologram.
That was amazing.
And
That's it. That's some of the most powerful Force using we've seen.
That was
love
Bastila. That was Bastila, and we've never seen that on screen. We've never seen battle meditation like that on screen. I mean, we saw Yoda do a little bit of it in was it 2?
Yeah, Attack of the Clones, a little bit, but
a
not
little
really.
bit.
He was just mainly coordinating. But the fact is, like, I've never seen that before, and the fact that it was a feature of the movie to breadcrumb that, you know what I mean? Like, I never.
They set it up so it didn't seem so out of proportion.
But I thought it was out.
But then he
But
shows
you
up.
didn't see it twice to see the clues.
Yeah, but the
you gotta
clues
rewatch
when you see the clues, it actually makes.
But
a lot.
the first
I felt
clue
like
for
that
me
at first.
was that
really?
he has the Graflex lightsaber and
Yeah.
not his.
I was like, why does he have this?
It melted.
Yeah,
It made more
because
sense
the
to
other
me.
scenes he has his green hero lightsaber from Jedi, but then he shows up with the Graflex lightsaber. So I wondered why that, because that, to me, that didn't make sense.
I feel like Kylo should have seen that. Like why do you have that blue? Didn't we just destroy that over there?
But
He also got a shave and a haircut for his Force projection.
And he showed up in the black robes
no, but he
too.
didn't. I don't think he did that. I think he showed up as everybody remembered him the last time they saw him. If you look, he had the same hair and shave and clothes as that scene in the Jedi Temple. The last time anybody saw Luke. So I feel like we weren't seeing Luke. We were seeing everybody else see Luke. That's what Luke looked
Oh, it's
like.
like Force Haze.
No, it's a mind trick. He wasn't
Force Haze, yeah.
He wasn't actually there. He wasn't projecting himself in a hologram. He was actually took an area of space and he basically mass mind tricked and planted himself into everybody's brains. And
What about C-3PO though?
well, that's possible.
That's amazing.
No, because you know how, like, remember, you know what I thought about when I saw that? I'm like, how's that possible? I'm like, wait a minute. Obi-Wan in Episode 3, right? When he sneaks, this is a stupid comparison, but when he sneaks into the little cupboard or whatever in Padme's ship to go confront Anakin on Mustafar, he he triggers the motion detector outside of the door. So I'm like, how does he do that? I was like, I guess if you can move the Force, electronics can pick it up too. If you can move,
Well,
I think it was an actual image that he created. I think that's what it was.
I guess so. It could be because
I think it's the only way C-3PO was able to see it. It was an actual physical image.
But who knows?
It
Maybe
was
he
AI.
could. Maybe he can do that. Maybe you could.
Maybe.
especially since he that was his boy.
You can use the Force to manipulate objects.
Yeah.
I mean, C-3PO is just a series of objects.
In the books, in the Star Wars role-playing books, that's a thing you can do. That's a Force power you can have.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure that you can manipulate electronics and like robots and things
But I don't
like
think
that.
you would. I think that's too much effort to make it that specific. Like, okay, I have to be able to trick this robot. I have to be able to trick these people. This robot over here. I think that's too
They
much.
should that
I think
was.
it's just an image. I think it's just an actual image.
But that was a
appeared.
weird choice. Like basically, they didn't even have to have 3PO see him.
Yeah.
They could just have 3PO be like.
Yeah. What are y'all looking at?
No, do you know why? Do you know why it'd have to be an image, more like a hologram? And I think Phil's right, because if he was mind tricking people, then why wouldn't he have like made it look like he got hurt when he got stabbed and things like that? You know what I mean? Like,
Okay,
I think it was.
I thought it was a mind trick.
I think it was a projection. I think. It was
Okay.
I think it's probably equal parts of that.
We'll have to wait for the Ryan Johnson explains.
Machines were able to pick it up.
Articles.
That's what it comes down to. Machines were able to, because like they probably had scanners on that ship.
That's right. The scanners, the view screens are picking them
Yeah,
up.
they would have known that. Oh,
Yeah.
there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now what about the whole Leia
Floating through
Spoiler
space.
Amazing.
Spoiler alert.
Love
death,
that.
I love
Death
amazing.
and rebirth.
It was
I-
so cheesy, but I loved it.
I absolutely love that because one of my things on my list, I had a list of
So
like.
So that means that Leia is very powerful with the Force.
She should be.
She always was.
So she is leading an army of rebels, not doing anything with her Force abilities.
Although she
I don't
might
think
be.
she has-
I think Leia.
Until it comes to saving her.
I think
own
Leia is subconsciously using battle
Just
meditation the
saying.
entire time. That's what makes her so great.
Just say.
Leia, okay, on the long list of things the requirements I had from this movie, that was a big one. I said, I want to see Leia use the Force. Not just her regular far-seeing that she does, because she has that, and she does that, like, what she can tell when Luke's in trouble, she can tell when her family's, like, in trouble.
Except she couldn't find Luke.
But
What?
wait, is that
But
a
you-
Force thing?
Yes.
But she couldn't find.
Absolutely.
But she couldn't find Luke.
Yeah,
Empire
but Luke
Strikes
shut
Back.
himself
map.
off from the Force. They talked about
Right,
that.
Luke shut himself off from the Force.
Okay, right.
He closed himself away from everything,
Yeah.
which is why he didn't know that Han was dead,
Yeah.
which is why he didn't know anything.
Right. because in the middle of the movie, he opens himself back up to Force when he grabs the rock, and he's like,
And
"Oh
she
crap!
wakes up.
Yeah, Leia's in trouble. Everybody's
right,
in
that's
trouble,
right,
and
that's
that's the
right,
turning
that's
point of the movie."
And that's when she woke up from the coma. She
Right.
goes, that's what got her up. Luke.
But
and then she's up.
in Empire Strikes Back, when they're Chewie and Leia and Lando are flying away from Cloud City, and Luke reaches out to her,
Right.
and that's because she's force sensitive. That's why
Right,
she can hear
right.
that. And there's a lot of that in this movie of her just being like, you know what I mean, like
She
feeling
senses
things.
she's been sensing everything.
Yeah, and it's not.
So
And
her
in the
force-
last movie,
But
too.
that's what I'm saying. So her force power is just sensing.
no,
Until now.
No. It's not like
And
you
floating
get like,
through
hey, you're Leia. You just have this one
No,
force
I'm
power.
just
No,
saying-
But
she's
the other
connected
thing is
to the
she's not a
Force.
warrior. You know what I mean? Like she's not like
So
she's not a fighter.
So she's not that good of a general.
No, she's a general, but she's
a
not.
tactician. She's not a
She's
soldier.
a tactician. She's the old person. But no, look at Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. She's on the ground.
Yeah.
She's got a gun,
Yeah.
and she's also 25 years old.
She held a gun in this movie.
Yeah.
She shot some shots at
She
that.
was shoot people. Yeah, she's a good.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
So I'm saying if she's this powerful with the force, why is she not using this whole time?
I don't think she realized that she could do what she did when she was in space.
But how do you know
I don't-
she hasn't been using it the whole time?
We don't know.
I think she subconsciously uses battle meditation the entire time.
I don't think she's well because there's only 12 rebels left. That's
But
why.
she's also not on the front lines in these movies. Like where in the original trilogy, she's on the front
Right,
lines.
I
She's
know.
fighting.
I know.
I think when she was
I'm not saying that she's not a badass.
No, but
No, I think-
I'm asking you
Why-
when would she use it?
I'm just saying, like, it just seems weird.
No, but what circumstances happened where she could have saved somebody?
Wherever
with
a
force?
rebel died.
Yeah, but she's in a command center somewhere.
Okay.
all right. So
So
she
these
was
last two
literally
movies.
But
dead
that's
in
what I'm
space,
saying.
though.
If she's
Yeah.
that good of if she's a general
I don't
and
think
knows,
she knew.
maybe she knows if she had this power as a good general. I don't need to be in this command center. I should be closer to this.
No, but
Or I
she
should
does need to be
closer
in that command center because everybody else is inept, especially Admiral Akbar.
Yoda, the other best general, he was sometimes not in the front lines during the Clone Wars, but he was close to the action because they needed him
But
there.
Yoda was the best fencer in the Jedi Order. He
But I'm
was
just
trained.
saying-
Yoda was
Wait.
trained as a warrior.
Where is the front lines? She was there. She was totally on the
She
front
was
lines.
on the front lines.
She was right
That
there.
was the front
She
line.
wasn't in an X-wing. Are you
No,
considering that the front lines?
no. I understand that. I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense.
The only time we see like Force users use the Force when they're in space battles is like when Darth Vader and Luke like reach out to each other.
Yeah.
That's it. You
She
know what I
does
mean?
that.
So, and that's what she does. But when there was a situation where she needed to use the Force, I was just glad that she used the Force. All I wanted to see was like her turn a light switch off or like grab a cup with the Force.
Yeah, but I don't think she. All right, so this is the point I'm trying to make. I don't think she knew she could do that with the Force. I think she knew she had the Farseeing. She could sense Luke, and she could sense things, and she had bad feelings, good feelings, whatever. She had feelings, right? I don't think she realized until her body was dying, until she shut down. I think something took over her, and she was able to do that. It's not like she's been like, grab my cane, whoop. Like it's not like that because she's never been like that.
There's a lot of people
She's not
saying,
trained at all.
You know, how does she live in space? And how, you know, like, first of all, she wasn't in space for particularly long, and you know, you could say a Jedi has more resilience to this, even though she's not really a Jedi. But that wasn't what bothered me. What bothered me was the bomber in the beginning of the movie, who's clearly in space and breathing no problem.
No. That happened twice.
They did it a bunch of times.
Wait,
Yeah,
Which
that
bomber?
happened. Yeah, I wanted to point that out to you,
when
Richie.
the thing won't open, when the bomber won't open because the remote
The girl
thing,
with the other half, Rose's sister.
Of the amulet.
yeah, she's laying there on a grate, and you see under her,
Space.
you see space.
Yes.
So,
Oh.
and they didn't even like try to make it look like there was a force field
No,
under her.
there was a ray shield, and I'll tell you why. Because in the first scene with the bombers,
Yeah.
when they first talk about opening the bombers before the first one explodes, you get that same view with the guy, and then the bridge explodes, and then
Yeah,
that
but
bomber
where's the
explodes.
force field?
Maybe you don't see it. Maybe it doesn't have to be opalescent and glowing.
It kind of does, because that's how ray shields work in Star Wars.
No,
maybe it's a
I
different
kind
type
of
of
agree with
ratio.
Anne-Marie there because when the main ship was running from the dreadnought and they kept just shooting like the butt of the ship, the only time you saw the force field was when bullets hit it.
Right.
Or,
Yes.
beams
Agreed.
hit it.
Okay,
Because there's kinetic energy hitting it, so it's reacting to it.
okay, I'll buy that. I'm
So
trying to
can
think-
we talk about that Kylo Ray tag team fight, huh?
Awesome.
Oh, that was amazing.
That was good.
And that was very kung fu too. That was the end of that movie being a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, not really. This was pretty good too. The whole and the thing
I hated that.
you hated
my
that.
God.
Yeah.
Why? How could you hate that?
It was that whole thing was just nonsense.
What? That was amazing.
No.
Oh, I disagree. I guess we're off
This is where Andy has to be the contrarian.
No, that's fine. I don't expect everybody to agree with me.
No, you need Andy here.
I'm just surprised that the thing I liked so much is something that people hate so much in that movie.
And again, hate is a strong word. Just because I wasn't a fan of it doesn't mean I hated it.
Yeah, I told Richie, I said I didn't hate this movie because I didn't have any fear or anger before it, and I'm not suffering now. So,
well,
I
I love
a Star Wars joke.
The thing I loved about that scene when they're fighting is the dialogue. Even though everybody said the dialogue is shit in this movie, I like the dialogue.
No, places were terrible.
Because he was just he said, if you strike me down in anger, I'll never leave you, just like your father. And that hit him. And that hit me. And then he
raged out.
He raged out, and then before he disappeared, he goes, "See you around, kid," which is the last thing that Han said to Luke before he takes off in A New Hope. Which I thought basically, yeah. Now you got me and my dad and your dad on your conscience. You know what I mean? Like I just thought that was great. I love that. I love that whole part.
And that was one of the few places the theater we were in reacted. Like the whole audience reacted. Like an audible gasp went through the crowd. But like nobody cared about anything else.
I don't know, but in the theater I went to, the whole place was cheering.
No, they were clapping.
But you know what? These aren't
forced.
Manhattan sophisticates. These are Staten Island bumpkins.
Staten Island plebes.
Yeah, but people were clapping today too at Lincoln Center.
Yeah. Just not as much as the Staten Island crowd. But I suspect this was
But
a lot of
it's also
second viewings.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Monday.
I'm trying to think of what else, like the other major stuff. Am I forgetting anything major?
I will say that I enjoyed the fact, as much as I didn't like about this movie, there were a couple pieces. Obviously, that fight was super rad. Mm-hmm. But lightsaber kung fu scenes are always going to be very cool. But as much as Rey is nobody, Snoke is nobody, that bothered me. But I do like the fact that we have no idea what's going to happen with Rey and Kylo next. We're super unsure of what their paths are going to be. It's not all right, now she's going to the rebellion and he's going back to the dark side. They were kind of iffy in the middle, you know?
Although I think they kind of hinted at a possible Rey turn. Because when she went into the dark side on the island,
she went by herself.
She didn't hesitate. She just went right in. And Luke was like, "Come out of it! Come out of it!"
There's a huge thing we haven't talked about yet. Huge.
The mirror of Erised?
No.
Is that right, Brandy?
Erised.
No.
There was parcel song too. I heard it.
Yoda.
Oh, yeah, Yoda.
No. Rephrase. Puppet Yoda. Puppet Yoda.
Yes,
Puppet Yoda.
everybody loves Puppet Yoda.
Not
It was
me.
great.
Really?
I would have preferred CG Yoda.
Episode
Oh,
3
get
Yoda.
outta here.
CG Yoda is
Puppet
made to
Yoda-
look like Puppet Yoda,
Puppet
so you
Yo-
do love Puppet Yoda.
Puppet Yoda can't fight with the lightsaber.
Why?
That's all I'm saying.
Because there's a guy with his hand up his ass.
The Force. Hello.
Puppet Yoda
Because it would look like this.
is 800 years old.
It's like someone chucking the puppet across the screen. And Frank Oz going, "Grrr."
Yep, you got my money for that.
This is what Puppet Yoda looked like, right?
Put a full-size lightsaber in his
What a great Jedi! Be careful with that before it turns on. It drives us so crazy. Won't shut up for 3 days.
So, I was not expecting that at all.
Okay.
But Andy was, because he goes, "This is Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
When's Yoda gonna show up?"
And there it was.
Yeah, but
Or
then that
Luke's gonna die the same way Yoda did, just
but that
disappear.
reveal
and his
was
coat's gonna be
friggin'
there.
awesome. It's like you get him walking up the hill and then the pan shot and you see the ears. You're like, ah! The whole theater went, ah!
I just like that Luke is so gloomy and serious and just sour, and Yoda comes back and is like, "What is wrong with
Hits
you?"
him in the head.
You're like,
No, it's literally, he goes, and I noticed this the second viewing, he was Luke young Luke the whole movie. If you really watch the way he acted it, he was like a friggin' 20-something. He was like a whiny, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I failed and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, shut up already, whiny Luke. Is always going to be whiny? Jeez.
That's who he is.
The only way I could have liked that better is if it was Hayden Christensen. It's the only way I could have liked that better.
Dude, that would have been awesome.
Who was Hayden Christensen?
If instead of Yoda, the spirit was Hayden Christensen, and Jar Jar was his roommate, like cousin Balky on the island. That's the only way I could have liked that movie better.
That would have been awesome.
It's like I'm hiding out here because I caused the creation of Kylo Ren. He's hiding out here because he caused the formation of the Empire. So like we're out here on the lam together.
Buddies.
Yeah, we're buddies.
Some buddies.
And Luke should have been like, I don't know why you guys hate this. Why hate him? He's kind of cool.
Some pretzels.
He's funny.
No, Yoda and the one-liners and the tree and the books, like everything was just magic that came out of his
something I
mouth.
noticed this time around is that Richie said, "Oh, Luke stashed the books on Rey's ship on the Falcon." No. Rey took them. Rey took them because Luke thought he was burning that ish down. He thought they were going down in flames. And then there's that one scene when she's finally leaving to go back to whatever the salt planet is, Crate or whatever.
Planet Emery.
Crate and Barrel.
The Soul Planet.
Is it because she's salty?
Tevs. The scene starts with her closing that drawer.
Nuns.
Right.
Fish nuns?
Yes.
Fish
None. Well, that scene starts with her closing that drawer. And you don't think about it because it's just like, oh, you're prepping, you're opening things, you're closing things, you're turning things on, whatever. And then I was like, oh my God, it's the books.
And that's why Yoda said the girl Rey already has
everything she needs
from the books because she
thought he was kidding.
that she didn't. No. That the girl Rey does not already possess.
Okay,
was his word.
He wasn't talking about the knowledge. He was talking about the actual.
Yeah, because Yoda's a troll.
Page
He's
Turner's
a troll.
there or not.
I like that.
Page Turner's
I like
there.
that.
And Luke's never read them.
Yeah, he's never read the Parallel Soul. Like, wait, he's been here for 30 years and he hasn't read these.
He's like, nah, I'm just winging it.
Nah, that's cool. I don't need to read these books. We got other books.
Remember that first thing Ben Kenobi told me?
like-
I've been going off of that. That's about
So
it.
do you think?
He's like, I didn't read these. They're in another language, and I didn't bring the stupid gold droid with me. They're translated.
Does that mean that Yoda has been there and read those books?
Yeah, probably.
That's
Absolutely.
Yoda probably wrote those
I think
books.
that's like a force planet. Like we've
Well, no,
seen
definitely
it
the Fourth
in-
Planet. But does that mean that Yoda made that trek there and he knows what's in those books?
Oh, I bet.
That's awesome.
A lot of the online, screw you, Ryan Johnson, you raped my childhood, is directed towards him milking that creature and drinking the milk.
And it
then
wasn't
fishing.
blue.
That's what Andy was mad about.
But it's like,
It had human boobs. It was
It should
weird.
have been blue.
It was weird.
It should have been blue milk.
that was weird,
No,
but I
everything
laughed.
has
I
a
laughed.
teat.
Sure.
Anything that has milk has a teat.
Teats
was
are always
nice.
funny.
Well, that's when I thought I was like, oh, Luke's just like a crazy
Why are you
person
laughing
now.
at that? That's
That
cows
was an
have
awesome.
teats.
That was an awesome Star Wars scene.
Yeah, I know,
You
but
can't
cows
say
have
teeth.
teats. That was
And
a
then he
human
looked
version.
over
He
and
looked
like-
at her like
It was all weird.
Yeah,
It
what
was
are you gonna-
all
what are you gonna
weird.
What do
When
you
he
think?
went,
Yeah,
love
he's
that.
It
being
was on
so
his
creepy
face
about
a little
it.
bit. It wasn't right.
beard.
None of it was right. It was good.
Yeah, milk.
Basically.
I think when I see all the Force Awakens
God,
fans
milk.
getting outraged, I think it makes me more powerful. I think that anger makes me powerful, gives me focus.
Makes you stronger.
I am
So-
the Senate.
Did Muff like anything from this movie at all? Just
I
wondering.
did. I like the Anne Marie nuns. I like the.
The poo face fish nuts.
You like
The
the
poo-faced
and now
pigeon.
Emery's,
You gotta
now
give us that.
Emery's in costume. That okay from now that should be the still from everything.
Everybody's gonna be that for Halloween. And they're like, what is this costume?
No, everyone will
They look
fucking
like
know.
the things from
sorry.
Dreamfall on Stark.
Oh no, is
No,
Muff okay?
on
He's left the.
Dreamfall.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
No, I'm looking at my list.
No, Muff just turned into a pile of clothes. What happened?
Also. All right.
I was kind of mad that.
No. This is the mad part. I said, what did
No.
you like
It's-
about
Jarrett,
this?
we're tired of hearing your displeasure.
It turned
I'm
into
sorry,
a
sorry, go
positive
on.
thing.
No, I'll even give
I
you
need
the whole
to get
screen.
potato
Go
chips.
ahead.
I'm not listening to him complain anymore.
Would you put
I
some
was
more bullet
upset
in
because
this?
I kept asking Richie. I said, "Where's Luke's Jedi lightsaber?"
I think it's still in R2.
No,
He
That
has some
sounds dirty.
lightsabers hanging in his little force hut.
Did he?
Yeah, there was an exposed red kyber crystal, and then there was another lightsaber. I think the graphics.
I didn't see another lightsaber.
Yeah, it was the opening scene in his little boudoir.
No, I thought those were
Why is everybody
fish.
so mad?
No,
I thought those were.
no,
I
there was
think-
fish outside.
I-
There was crystals inside.
Well, because he held it up to Kylo when he was going to kill him or not kill
that
him
a
or
red
whatever, that
crystal?
whole scene thing.
Yes.
And then
Maybe it was Vader's.
Kylo just blew everybody away and then burnt down the temple.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I think it got destroyed or it's under all the rubble or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe. I thought it was a strange decision for them to use the blue Graflex there because
Weird.
Kylo knows it just got destroyed. So wouldn't he know? Like, or is that another clue for us? Is that
I
another
think it was a
breadcrumb?
clue for you.
I think it was a clue for us.
And
yeah.
if you're in the middle of a battle like that, your adrenaline's flowing. You're not going to look for details like you're doing a hidden word puzzle.
Yeah, and also we know from this pisses everybody off online. We know that there were multiple Graflexes because General Grievous has a bunch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I mean, I liked the fact that, you know, we were arguing about it before and saying, like, you know, we didn't like it, but I like the fact that some people are just raw force, like, you know, those kids at the fucking horse petting zoo and no, and like Kylo and Rey, like he's like, your parents are nobody, they're garbage people, they're drunk, trash people in a shallow grave.
Trash people.
It's just like
Trash
she.
people.
It's like, but she didn't have to be a Kenobi. She didn't have to be a Palpatine or whatever. It's just no. She's just got the Force in her, and she's really strong with it.
do you think they're gonna go back on that? Because now JJ's coming in and he's gonna remake Force Awakens again because
A new
Yeah.
New Hope.
A new Snoke.
a newer hope.
A new
Newer,
Snoke.
yeah.
A new Snoke. A new Snoke.
I think that JJ painted them into a corner, and then that's why they were just like, no. They're always going to say we had a plan.
I think it's why Episode 7 fanboys really aren't digging this movie because they went back on everything. It's like,
I would be happy if there was no more Star Wars movies.
Well, too bad. There's 2 more coming at least.
Well,
That's okay. This will be my second to least favorite Star Wars movie after the Han Solo movie comes out.
Yeah, probably. The interesting thing is our friend Adam, who's into all this stuff too. He's been on the show before. He said, I told him how I felt about the movie, and he was like, "That's very interesting because the way I look at this movie is that this movie shouldn't have happened." He goes, "But the way you look at this movie, The Force Awakens shouldn't have happened, and this is to correct that." So I said, "I guess so."
We've talked about it before, though. I really don't enjoy the phrase course correcting. Like,
I don't think this
we're
is a
course
course correction.
correcting our franchise.
I don't think this was a course correct. Well, maybe it was. Maybe. But I'll tell you, as much as I did like this movie, and I enjoyed it a lot, and the second time, I thought after reading all the, like I said before, after all the negative stuff, I thought that maybe that would sour my experience. But I really loved it. It hit me on a lot of levels, and it was unexpected, and it didn't deliver what I wanted to see for the most part. I could deliver a few things I wanted to see, but it gave me things I'd never even thought about that I wanted to see. And I think when art can do that to you, when it doesn't meet your expectations, it exceeds your expectations, that's something special. But that being said, I am disappointed that there's going to be no more Luke and Leia, and I feel less invested in these movies now because of it. Like, because we know that Carrie Fisher passed away, so we know that whatever her role in the next movie was supposed to be, it's now diminished. And if Luke's going to be a blue glowy, I guess that's cool, but it's not the same as having the character there. So I'm moving forward. I have no expectations for this anymore, which might be the point that they're trying to get to. It's like, okay, stop like dictating internet. Stop dictating what we're supposed to do.
Can I
with
jump
this.
in for a sec?
What?
So my whole thing about this movie, excuse me, my whole thing about this movie was, actually my whole thing about Force Awakens is I reserve my judgment for Force Awakens until Last Jedi comes out. Because if it was just all one elaborate setup and a torch passing for what was going to happen next in Star Wars without Luke and Leia and Anakin and the Emperor, a complete departure from what we know and Star Wars moving forward, because there's only so long these people can live, like they're gonna have to die at some point. So what happens in Star Wars after that? If that whole movie was just a setup so we can, I guess it's, for lack of a better way of saying it, get rid of Han and kind of pass it along to this younger generation of characters, then I'm okay with Force Awakens. And I feel like Last Jedi delivered that. You don't think so?
I don't think 8 fixed 7.
No, I don't think it. fixed
Me
7.
neither.
No, I'm saying it justified 7. I don't think it fixed it. I think it justified it. I had no opinion on 7. I had no desire to watch it again. I liked the characters a lot, but I thought that there was nothing happening in the story. And I said from the minute I saw that movie, I was like, I can't tell you how I feel about this until I see the next one.
So how do you feel about it now?
I feel like it's fine.
Okay.
I feel like it's fine. I don't think it fixed it. I think it justified it.
I enjoyed watching it more because I watched it the day before, or 2 days before I went to go see The Last Jedi, and I enjoyed watching it more because I knew I was going to get to see Luke, and that was a big disappointment for me with 7 because I didn't get to see enough of Luke, which
I
was my
like that
favorite
the other
character
end of
from
the
that.
dot meme
Who's still alive.
was him throwing the lightsaber. That was the other half of the dot meme. And I think they did that because of the dot meme after that movie.
All right, so let's wrap this up. 1 out of 10 score. Go, Jarrett.
4.
Whoa! Philip.
I'm between a 7 and an 8, so I'm going to say 7.5.
Okay, Amory.
9.
5 or 4.
I'm gonna go with 7.
I too will go with a 9.
Yeah.
Because I had major problems with some of the things. I'm disappointed that I didn't get to see exactly what I wanted, but I saw things I never even considered. And I think it's nice to be surprised going into a movie, and I was not surprised going into Force Awakens because it was basically a remake for the most part. But
Do we get to answer about the who is the Last Jedi? Is there a Last Jedi?
No,
Why
Luke-
do they call this
Luke-
the Last Jedi?
It's a title.
no, Luke was the Last Jedi, and they called him the Last Jedi several times. But at the
But
end,
at the end he said,
he
I
goes,
won't be
"I won't be the Last Jedi."
So he wasn't the Last Jedi.
No, not
Rey
until,
was,
well.
for now.
Once he opened himself up to a few things happened, like meeting Rey, opening himself with that Rey coming to that planet, started a chain of events, which eventually led to him opening himself back up to the Force, where he actually got to feel through the Force to see how his sister was doing, and he saw, oh, this is bad. What's happening is bad, and Yoda came to visit him, and he said, this is not, the R2 played the message. It's like you're doing the opposite of what Obi-Wan Kenobi did. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi was in your predicament. He was hiding on a planet, right? Didn't want to be found, and we needed him, and he left, and he
stepped up.
He stepped up and sacrificed himself, and and then that was one
Well,
part.
a lot of
and
that
then,
was shame. He was feeling shit.
Yes.
Luke was feeling massive shame.
Yeah, exactly. And at least see that to me was the biggest question.
And it was the same shame because Obi-Wan couldn't stop Anakin from becoming a Sith.
Yeah.
And at the same time here, Luke couldn't stop Kylo from becoming Sith.
Right.
It was the same exact.
I feel like
Same
it's a
exact
different
thing.
kind of shame, though. I don't know if it's exact.
Well, I'm just saying the circumstances.
It's parallel enough.
That was shame. Thank you, Jarrett. I did think of you because I thought of a terrible joke that you would appreciate. It was like, wait a minute. So the reason that Kylo Ren exists is because of a misunderstanding. What is this? Galactic Three's company? I was just like, because it's just
Can
like
we
You
talk
were
about
actually very
too
bothered
his
by
shirt
that.
off
what?
You were.
when he had his shirt off?
Oh, well,
it was
it
just
got-
like, oh hey.
She's like, can you put something on, please? I thought that was
that
great.
was another one of those things where, like, I had just said that exact phrase
Yeah.
in the movie. She shouldn't say that. That's not in her character to say that.
Maybe it is.
I don't think it is.
She's been a very asexual character.
But that's
you know what I mean? We haven't.
No, but that's the problem with the jokes that you're saying is that the jokes that when you're watching a movie and you tell your friend sitting next to you, they're not supposed to then go and say it on the screen.
I don't
See,
know.
I feel like that's gratifying when they do that.
I that didn't bother me nearly as much as it bothered you.
That being said, I love that scene.
But yeah, he's in good shape. That guy.
Spoiler alert, Kylo breaks up with Hannah and
Shut up.
So
Ugh.
And then he drives a bus in New Jersey for his indie cred.
yep.
that was a little weird.
So
That
that
like the crux of
Jared
this
did
conflict was that I thought about killing him for a second, but then I changed my mind. He's like, "No, you were gonna kill me." No, I just thought about it. It's like, really? That's what we're hanging this whole
that
thing on.
did not bother me at all.
It didn't bother me the second time, but it bothered me the first
It
time.
bothered you a lot, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I think that that's brilliant. The fact that this giant, massive, huge conflict that's like across the galaxy conflict is caused by a minor misunderstanding. It's not minor, but it's a misunderstanding where it's like, no, I didn't mean that. That's not what I meant. But they're not going to hear it.
Although that's like a big thought to even have. He thought about doing it and he was right next to him.
I'm not saying it's not messed up, but it was at the end of the day.
He went to go do it.
Even if he had the thought, he decided not to do it. It's still he had the thought. He was there. It was like I would never trust. Like if you did that, I would never trust you again.
Did you notice Ben's lightsaber this time?
What?
It's the same lightsaber as his Kylo lightsaber without the cross guard.
Wait, was it? I was trying to see. I couldn't really tell.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
it's the Kylo. It's like a silver or chrome version of the Kylo Ren saber, no cross guards.
Okay.
It was pretty cool looking. So someone already announced they're doing a run of
What,
of
at
those.
the end of the movie?
No, the flashback saber.
They're doing Kylo's OG saber.
Oh, nice.
All right. So any parting words? You want to call it?
No, I'll be back in the studio again when I don't have hibernation sickness.
Oh,
Get back to your back to tank.
Yeah.
Everybody. Andy, you want to?
No.
Was there anything else on your list?
You want to spew any more hatred?
Did you have any?
May the force be with you.
And also with you.
But only when you're dying.
Snoke's dead and the mind link is still permanent.
Oh, did you?
So he had nothing
right.
to do with it.
Did you hear the?
Right? Isn't
he
that
did.
what the whole
He
thing?
did. That was.
Did you hear the Qui-Gon
He said he
Jinn
did.
Snoke
He
theory?
said he did.
What?
This theory is that Qui-Gon Jinn is actually Snoke, because Yoda says a friend of ours has become immortal, but he's evil.
That's not
a reach.
When did
That's
he
a
say
reach.
that?
It's always a
In,
reach.
2. Is it in 2? Is that
3.
3?
No,
Who was he
Anne Marie and
talking
I
about?
know
Found the
who
path to
Snoke
immortality.
is.
Has found right.
Anne Marie and I know who
friend has
Snoke
found-
is. It's the little kid who goes, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? And he's got the little, half, stroke victim mouth.
I could see a whole. I just saw a whole comic run. It starts in that scene. Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? Right, and then he kills all of them, and that other kid turns and starts killing them too. And he's like, "Oh, you're pretty cool, kid. So let me hide you." And he hides the little kid, right? And that little kid
He got
trains
stabbed
him.
in the face with the lightsaber, which is why he has the hole in
Yeah,
his cheek, right?
yeah. And that little kid is like Darth Vader's secret apprentice, right? And he becomes super powerful, and he hides it from the Emperor, and the Emperor dies, and he takes over, right? And that's why he's so oh, I'm looking for the next Darth Vader because I freaking love Darth Vader. That guy's cool.
So cool.
I will read this comic book review.
You're related to Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Sick.
That could be a YouTube series.
my God.
Every episode is a different theory, Snoke theory.
A lot of people wanted to see that. They wanted to see who Snoke was and where it came from, and I don't think it matters. I think he was great.
He had some serious training though. It's this training is
Snoke is
heavy.
powerful.
What happened to his face, though?
But
Can't fix that.
you know what?
why can't you fix
Is there anything
that?
to do?
Can't fix ugly. The Force can do a lot of things, but it can't fix ugly.
You know what? From the Clone Wars and from Rebels, the time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope has a lot of interesting potential for storytelling, and you don't think it would because it's what the Jedi lie dormant for 20 something years, right? But when you watch a show like Rebels. Or see a movie like Rogue One, you say, oh, there are stories there, and entertaining stories. So even though we might not get all the answers here, you got to understand something. Disney is not just in the movie-making business. Right. They are a multimedia conglomerate who they're going to make comic books, they're going to make TV shows, they're going to make animated series, they're going to make novelizations, they're going to siphon as much money out of this as possible. So they're going to leave this huge 30-year gap of the formation of the Jedi Order or the Jedi Academy and the rise of the First Order, and we're probably gonna see those stories.
Just not in the arc of a 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, it's just where we got dropped really was dependent on how old Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford were. You know, and that's where we got dropped in this. And their kid would be grown, and that's what happened.
What did we look up? Oh, we found that. Mark Hamill's older than Alec Guinness.
Yeah, Mark
Really?
Hamill's 64
Really?
and Alec Guinness was 63.
Whoa.
Richie, do you think that Disney's going to put the fanfare back in front?
Nah. Oh, why? Because they own Fox now?
Yeah.
They could, I guess.
I mean, they bought it 2 days before the movie came out. They could have done it.
So, moving forward, we have the next film coming out is a Han Solo movie, which I hope is great, but I really can't get excited about because I don't understand why we need a Han Solo movie.
Are they not
have
filming
a,
it yet?
They have a nobody playing
It's
Han?
filmed. It's done.
Oh, it is. It's done.
Yeah, there's a up-and-comer playing Han, and Ron Howard's directing. Then we have J.J. Abrams directed Episode 9, which I don't know how to feel about. And then supposedly...
Oh, you know how to feel about that.
And then but you know what? It might be great.
You
It might
have
be
no
great.
expectations. You cannot be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect in the next set
Yeah.
of movies because
can
all the
expect
stuff
a
that
J.J.
happened in this
Abrams
movie, I'm
movie.
like, what?
Lens flare.
And let me tell you, that's not exactly a bad thing to not, because now whatever they do, I'm in for. It's like I've been relieved of expectations. As I'm bummed about that because I'm bummed that Luke is dead, and I'm bummed that Carrie Fisher's not going to be it.
Yeah,
be in
but
it,
we were sad when Yoda died too, and that was
yeah,
the end of him.
but
so.
I'm sort of liberated of that burden.
Yeah, it's great.
And then after that,
And if Luke could do Jedi hologram
Yeah.
with his force power,
Yeah.
maybe he could do some other like afterlife force
yeah, we'll
powers
see.
that we don't know.
We don't know about exactly. But the most excited I am, because it's weird. Because like after the Justice League, I'm not excited by any more comic book movies. It's like because I don't know because I feel like that's dead in the water.
Right.
The Star Trek J.J. Abrams series I thought was it doesn't do anything for me. I'm interested to see. There's a rumor that Tarantino is going to direct one.
Yeah, man.
So
Star Trek?
yeah,
with
I'd
that.
be very interested to see what would happen there. But with Star Wars, the next thing I'm very excited about is the Obi-Wan solo movie that is supposedly greenlit. And I really hope it's Ewan McGregor. Like, why wouldn't it be?
How could they not do that? He's
If
the
it's
perfect
not,
age.
what will you do?
I'll be very sad.
Besides that, I think
he'll
there's something
still
Look at
deeper.
his
You're
I
gonna
feel,
do
like, I feel like
something.
Ewan McGregor's the one person like prequel and like original trilogy.
And he
guys
said
are-
he'd do
Hello
it. He
there.
don't care.
Hello there.
Hello there.
No, he was like that was some of the best casting I've ever
Everyone
seen in my
agrees
life.
that Ewan McGregor is awesome.
He's so dreamy.
Okay, thank you for watching our way too long Band Geek, The Last Jedi discussion and review.
But you knew
talk
it was going to
about.
be long.
You
There's
knew.
still so
You
much
know
more
what?
to talk
Maybe
about.
next time we should start with the things we liked because I feel like we
Oh
just
my
spent like
God, yeah.
75% trashing it,
I
and
mostly
then
liked it.
25% going like, no, but I really liked it.
No, but you guys really didn't like it that
No,
much.
no, I really
No,
liked
I mean, I did.
no, I really liked it.
No, I liked
Andy
it.
goes, I give it a 4. I really liked it.
No,
Muff
no,
gave
I
it a
really-
4.
Andy
I
gave it
gave
a
it a
5, which is
4 or
consistent with
5.
Andy. Andy's very consistent in his middle of the
It
road.
didn't do
indifference.
anything to his life. It's just fine.
All right. Big thanks to Jarrett Pressman on the view screen.
Oh.
Why
do you
is
have
she
those?
kissing
Where'd you get
him?
those?
Who is that?
Why do you have
Is that Carthonassus?
No, I'm Cassian Andor.
Phil Castellano.
Thanks, guys.
Anne Marie Castellano. Andy Escalise.
One day.
It's legal now, Andy.
It's still not legal for you to be married to both of them, so you're gonna have to give up one.
One
Think
day.
about it.
One day.
Hi, guys.
Randy Metaxas.
Woo for me!
I'm Richie Castellano. See you guys next time.